Located in Bruce, South Dakota, in the United States, this farm is home to a staggering 92,000 beehives. The first step to harvesting honey is to remove frames from the hive. Smoke can be used to calm the bees, while gentle shaking and brushing can dislodge them from the frames. Honey frames are ready for harvest when at least 80% of their cells are filled with wax-capped honey. This wax is crucial to keep the honey moist between 17 to 21 degrees, unfermented and unspoiled. Each hive on the farm is meticulously cared for so it can house up to 60,000 bees. In total, there are around 4.5 billion bees on this farm. The type of beehives used in the US is significantly different to that of Japan, where pilebox hives made from wood are used to mimic the conditions the bees would find in the wild. As creative as this country has always been, they also raise bees in wooden logs like this. This type of honey is darker and sweeter than regular honey, but let's save that unique beekeeping method for another video. As for the pilebox hives, the bees live in the bottom boxes, and the honey is in the top boxes, secured by a duckboard. First, the duckboard is unscrewed and loosened using a putty knife. The separation between the bees and honey reduces the bee concentration at the top, so only a blower is used to drive them away. Then, the beekeeper uses a string or a knife to cut out sections of honeycomb carefully. After that, a new box will be added at the bottom. Japanese honey is often consumed with the hive, unlike in the US. The highest honey yield is achieved during peak bloom, typically from June to July. Harvesting often takes place from then until the end of September. Now let's return to the extraction facilities in the US, where beehive frames are processed after being harvested. The first place they arrive is called the hot room. A hot room in this facility in Bruce can carry up to 10,000 honey boxes, stacking up to 5 meters high, and they are heavy with capped honey. Here, each box is placed into a machine to have its cap removed. This mixture of wax and honey drops down into this tank. Frames yield the most honey when they are completely uncapped, so a scraper also comes in handy to tidy up. They are then conveyed and stacked into the honey extractor to have the honey spun out of the frames. Each extractor can hold 120 frames at a time, and it takes place approximately 16 minutes to extract them all at once. These facilities can process 2,500 honey boxes per day, and its temperature is maintained at a constant 100 to 105 degrees Fahrenheit in order to allow the honey to slowly melt. After extracting, workers push the frames out of the extractor and place the new ones in like this. The extracted frames are put back into the empty honey boxes at the end of the line. A crucial aspect of honey harvesting is leaving at least 80 pounds of honey for each hive so that they can sustain themselves throughout the winter when there is no pollen or nectar. The mixture is then passed through a heat exchanger to be warmed up, and then fed into a separate tank designed with a spinning mechanism to separate the honey from the wax. The honey is then pumped into storage tanks, while the wax is transferred to another area for packing and sale. The honey is then stored in these huge tanks, containing 2,640 gallons of honey until it's ready to be sold. The farm extracts and ships approximately 5 to 8 million pounds of honey annually. All of this honey is sourced from areas like Bruce, Roscoe, and Kimball, and is carefully classified in order to ensure quality control. urban beekeeping has gained popularity in many countries like France and Japan. With over 35 million bees, beekeeping on the rooftops of famous landmarks in Paris has generated a revenue of $41 for every 200 mils of honey. Some consider it purer than honey from rural areas because of the widespread pesticides that are banned in the city. Bees have a natural inclination to build their nests in high places. So in addition to rooftops, sheer cliffs are another location where millions of pounds of honey can be harvested. The Gurung people of Nepal have a millennia-old tradition of harvesting a type of honey called mad honey, which can sell for up to $300 a litre. However, this honey harvesting is incredibly dangerous, and not just because it's thousands of feet up at the peak of the Himalayan mountains. If too much of the honey is consumed, it can cause hallucinations because of a chemical in the flowers the bees here get the nectar from, hence the name mad honey. These cliffs are 800 feet above ground level and take at least a day to reach by foot. One small mistake and the harvester could pay with their life. Yet the tools they use here are incredibly basic: a bamboo ladder. To harvest the honey, the harvester first secures themselves to the rope, which is oftentimes their only harness. Then, using a 12-foot pole called a tango, they cut the hive. A harvested mad honeycomb weighs around 3.3 to 4.4 pounds. At peak times, a harvester can spend 6 to 8 hours a day cutting around 50 hives, yielding around 600 kilograms of honey. Would you dare to hang 800 feet in the air for 6 hours to collect around $70,000? Alternatively, you can opt for a less daunting approach at a more manageable height of 100 feet by harvesting honey from the trees in a forest of Southeast Asia, India, or parts of Africa. You can bring along various tools to assist you, and if you're on a budget, a simple face net and climbing spikes will suffice. Just make sure you are as skilled at balancing as this man. If you're confident and have a capable team, challenge yourselves with a towering 200-foot tree like this one. It hosts around 60 beehives, and you can harvest at least 1.3 tons of honey from them. Wild honey prices range from $10 to $25 per litre, so your team could earn up to $32,000 from a single harvest. Sounds like a worthwhile endeavour. Our next stop is to visit the nomadic beekeepers in Asia and Africa, where the great seasonal variations in plant bloom. These nomadic beehives are moved up to 20 times a year to various locations for pollination and honey production. Nomadic beekeepers only harvest honey when there is a surplus, always leaving at least one full frame, or around 44 pounds of honey for these hard-working little creatures. Although transporting beehives, setting up new apiaries, and ensuring the bees adapt to a new environment are some of the logistical challenges for nomadic beekeepers, the variety of nectar sources may be able to produce higher quantities of honey, and those with a more diverse and complex flavour profile. Now, if we are talking about nutritious honey, Manuka is probably the first name that pops up in many people's heads. This honey is known to contain a higher concentration of antibacterial properties that are called methylglyoxal. But did you know that Manuka honey is produced by bees that pollinate only the Manuka flowers in New Zealand and parts of Australia? Without proper management, this can put great pressure on this single plant species. Hence, nomadic beekeeping may have a lower environmental impact by utilizing a wider range of floral resources. In Africa, beehive fencing is a traditional agricultural practice widely used to protect crops from large herbivores, particularly elephants. This animal is evolutionarily sensitive to bees, so just the bee noise is enough to drive them away. A beehive fence consists of a series of beehives, typically made from wood or other locally available materials, connected by wires that surround a farm or crop field, with each hive placed around 10 to 20 meters apart. In the race to bring back animals from the brink of extinction, soft-shell turtles have become one of the most economically important turtle species. They are raised intensively in artificial ponds to achieve fast growth and high productivity. These turtles seem to thrive in the warm climates of farms in Asia, intended primarily for meat processing. China, Japan, and Korea are popular soft-shell turtle producing countries. The reason for this is that the turtles are very valuable because they contain high nutritional content and have many beneficial effects for life. The meat of soft-shell turtles is considered a cure for fertility problems, cancer, and rheumatism. They are seen as a particularly popular delicacy in southern China. With strong consumer demand, Chinese farms raise 13 million turtles each year. Each farm has an area of at least 500 square meters. This ensures spacious living space for the turtles. Soft-shell turtles have an interesting and unique reproductive cycle. Females lay eggs 2 to 5 times a year. The number of eggs per laying can be up to 40 or 50 eggs. At this farm, there are around 7,000 baby turtles hatching every day. This is a truly impressive number. Soft-shell turtle eggs are placed in a tray. There is a layer of soil underneath to remove CO2 released from the embryo's metabolism. Incubation periods last around 60 to 90 days. However, under the influence of human intervention, the hatching time is reduced to only 30 to 40 days. After being harvested, baby turtles are placed in water tanks. This is an important process that helps protect their health and prevents injuries due to collisions or scratches during transportation. After hatching, the baby turtles are released into the pond. This is where they are allowed to grow naturally and healthily. Soft-shell turtles selected from containers containing baby turtles after 2 months of age must be uniform in size, healthy, and free of pathogens. The initial stocking density when the turtles are around 15 grams is about 10 to 15 animals per square meter. The density decreases as the turtles grow. At 500 grams in weight, there will be around 3 turtles per square meter. They will mature after around 4 to 5 years, depending on farming conditions and living environments. Baby turtles are raised in small tanks before being transferred to ponds. Grow-out ponds are 1 to 1.5 meters deep, and the mud layer on the pond bottom is maintained at around 10 to 20 centimeters. Farming ponds are often located near canals or rivers, so there is a continuous flow of fresh water into the pond. This maintains a minimum water level. The cage is built large enough for the soft-shell turtles to operate, and it has a slope that allows the turtles to crawl to the mainland to bask in the sun and find a place to nest. Each farm has a fence with a minimum height of 50 centimeters surrounding the pond. The legs of these walls are firmly fixed in the ground. Farmers can plant trees to create shade for the turtles to rest and nest. Soft-shell turtles like to eat decomposing meat. they often compete with each other for prey. As well as this, the diet of the turtles includes fish, insects, and aquatic plants found in ponds and lakes. Owners can also feed specially prepared pellets to soft-shelled turtles. This type of food is convenient and nutritious. Soft-shelled turtles are fed 2 to 4 times a day, depending on their age. Food is presented on trays placed near the pond surface and monitored daily to ensure there is adequate food. Farmers avoid overfeeding turtles in order to minimize water pollution, which makes them susceptible to disease. After around 6 months, soft-shell turtles are sorted to avoid fighting. Males and females are separated when they reach around 500 grams. Soft-shell turtles are characterized by a slow growth rate. Usually their weight reaches 400 to 600 grams after a year. Under conditions of low stocking density, favorable food, and good management, their weight can reach 1 to 2 kilograms in just a year. Farmers regularly check cages and fences to minimize turtle escapes. Water changes are done weekly or when the water color becomes dark. At the same time, farmers avoid making noise and excessive handling of the turtles. This can scare them. Therefore, the mortality rate of soft-shelled turtles raised in cement tanks is lower than that of turtles raised in earthen ponds. Soft-shelled turtles will come ashore when the weather is favorable to sunbathe and lay eggs. They breathe normally through their lungs, but can also absorb oxygen when submerged via the skin or passing water through membranes in their throat or cloaca. Soft-shell turtles are aggressive, like all carnivores. However, they do seem shy. They often seek refuge underwater when there is a noise or a shadow appears. When soft-shell turtles are hungry, they can become cannibals. If turtles are injured, they will be brutally attacked by other turtles. Besides modern barns, there are other methods that are popular in southern China. Rice fields can provide a suitable environment for many types of aquatic animals. Raising soft-shelled turtles in rice fields is a traditional practice in China and many Asian countries. Rice plants can absorb nutrients in wastewater generated by turtle farming, and this helps to reduce potential sources of pollution. Soft-shelled turtles were once animals on the brink of extinction. Somehow, China has managed to turn this animal into a bright spot in the country's economic development. After 12 to 16 months of stocking into ponds, farmers can begin harvesting. Farmers often use nets or shovels to avoid injuring the soft-shelled turtles. Choosing the right time to harvest is also very important. It is best to harvest in the dry season to avoid the impacts of weather conditions and ensure better turtle quality. At this stage, they harvest the entire pond by draining and catching by hand. They are sorted and placed into mesh bags. All handling operations by farmers are gentle to avoid damaging the turtle. Normally, turtle farmers will sell to restaurants, serving diners who love this special type of turtle meat. In addition, soft-shell turtles are also exported by traders to Thailand and Taiwan. The quality of turtle meat is preserved from the harvest stage. The price of soft-shelled turtles is determined based on size, weight, and age. Before processing, cleaning and sorting turtles is an important step. With a delicious flavour, soft-shell turtle meat can be processed into many attractive dishes. In Japan, soft-shell turtles are commonly raised in Hamana Lake. This is an area with a warm climate and abundant food. In addition, it is conveniently located between Tokyo and Osaka, two major consumption areas. From November to March, soft-shell turtles hibernate in pond mud. During that time, they do not eat food, so they grow slowly. Usually, it takes around 3 to 4 years for them to develop to harvesting size. When they reach the weight of 600 grams to 1 kilogram, they are eligible for harvest and distribution to the market. Hattori Nakamura Turtle Farm currently ships tens of thousands of soft-shell turtles across the country each year.